Hello everyone, today, because it is also a good day as well, we have decided to actually come for a little walk near, because where we live, Red Hill is nearby, and sometimes when the weather is really good, then, or not really good, but it is like good temperature, like today, then we actually just come out to walk here. From our house it is 10 minutes until Red Hill. If you remember my free bus video, I've actually showed you the car entrance to go up to the lookout, as well as the golf nearby, or on the Red Hill. We will not go under that up, but we are walking next to the Red Hill. Some tracks, including this one, has some steep ascending, which might not be suitable for everyone, but also a lot of tracks have actually here have some steep steps. So yeah, so sometimes you have to be more careful. So this part is more of like, is more comfortable for everyone. Here we have Deakin with some houses, and we have this red earth here, which is why it is called Red Hill. And then in the direction, some trees, and then you can also walk up to the lookout. But for that, you have to be prepared that there are some steep steps. That's why I was not really filming anything, because it was really steep and I had to take care of myself, which is more important than vlogging. As you can see, there are some like pet dog, and also there is like a bike trail, which shows that people with dogs and bicycles are actually also using this path to have some relaxing afternoon. And we are literally next to the road, so there is actually like parking cars there. And then there are, yeah, so Deakin is, so each district here is actually not really small, but also not really big. So yeah, so where we live, there is actually like the border of Deakin and Curtin, two different districts, and then Deakin is actually spreading to this direction. So yes, if we would go backwards, then we would actually reach the end of Deakin at some point. And also in that direction to the left, in the forest, there are actually a lot of kangaroos, which is true to literally every part of Canberra, since everywhere you see actually like a green park, you can actually find at least 5 kangaroos or more. So there are some signs that autumn has actually started, like that really beautiful red leaf trees. In some places there are some yellow trees, yellow leaves already. In some it is red, and then in some, for some trees they still green. but they will also turn to yellow or red, but not at this time because it is not too cold for them. So yeah, so this is the red tree that I was talking about. It has some yellow and then it turns to green, red, which shows autumn. There are also some like parrots and some other birds that can be found here in Red Hill, and yeah, and then some rabbits and kangaroos as well. Sometimes snake. We have actually seen one here. It was a red-bellied snake, which is one of the most dangerous snakes here in this area, the east coast. So this part of Australia. Yeah, because it is really depending on where do you live in Australia. So because if you live in the deserted area, we'll find snakes that can be found in deserted area. In the outback, you can find snakes that are adapted for that one. And also in the rainforest, you can find rainforest adapted snakes. So every part of Australia has some different type of snakes. Yeah, so this. But also for here, as you can see, there are really small rocks, which you need to be careful because if you are descending, then you might even fall. So it is good to have a Nordic walking stick, or even because here a lot of people actually do what they do is actually they get some sticks from the ground that are really strong. So yeah, so those sticks are really good for people who are not actually or who has some leg problems such as their ankle, so they can actually enjoy the walk with some help, so they can actually walk and look around. And there are a lot of people who are actually doing this in Blue Mountains. Mostly there are like a lot of steps, and we saw that elderly people, also people with disabilities, or not really so some disabilities, so they can walk a bit hard, but they are still walking. So and I am really happy for Australia to actually help each other. So it is really, with this redness, is actually really cool, like in Uluru and in that region you can find similar ones or even more red, but you don't need to, if you don't want to actually visit Uluru and you want just like a red earth, you can actually come, and if you are living in Canberra, you can actually come to Red Hill, which is not really far from any part, and there might be actually other parts which has red earth, but this is our region, so this is our, so there are more like steep descending sometimes, but it is true to whole Australia. So if you find some tracks, you might, if you're going upwards, you might find some steps instead of these steep slides. But most of the times, given there, in that track that is also like a steep steep path up to the Red Hill again. Yeah, so yes, it is actually really relaxing and calm. Yeah, and then like for us, like I said, it is 10 minutes walk, and then you are in the nature again. Or you are in the nature and then you can walk for hours. Yeah, so we have been walking for an hour, I think, or even more, and then yeah, so there are some bird houses. Yeah, which is, I don't know if it was here all the time or not. So, but I think it was like. And then some tracks are labeled. So to up into the Red Hill, we have the Ratidosis track, and then we are on the Deakin Fire Trail, and literally next to some houses. So yeah. So it is really surprising that you are next to the like houses where people live, and then you can actually walk peacefully. Like they will not bother you, we will not bother them. So yeah, so everyone can enjoy their own life. Yes, one thing that I also like here in Australia, that you can actually have your own pets. So there are a lot of birds, including magpies, cockatoos, parrots, and some of these birds can actually get used to you. So if you so one day one of the birds like comes, and then you feed it, like it might be a bit scared, but if you are doing that for a lot of times, like we do with our, like we have cockatoos that are actually coming for every breakfast around 7 or 8 a.m. and then they're actually coming back every day. So and then they are actually getting used to us, so they are not getting afraid of us anymore. So but they still still respect some space. So so they will back up a little bit, but they will not fly away like at the beginning, that they actually like flew away, and they actually came back after we left. So yeah, at our old house we had magpies, and these birds are actually really clever. Like cockatoos, they actually can recognize you as fast as magpies. So yeah, so they will actually get used to you. So yeah, so and same can be done with kangaroos, but they yeah, so first times they will run away, and then I think they would come back for the food, and then there are actually 2 kangaroos there. Yeah, so like they are hopping for a while, and then they are stopping, and then sometimes when they can actually when they can see people, then they are actually facing them and they stopped, so they will not do anything. Yeah, but now they don't see me, so they are eating. Yeah, so a lot of also magpies have a really good hearing, so they can actually hear worms under the underground. So they will actually, like if you're Australian, then know this. If you're not, then if you're coming here and you will see magpies on the floor, on the ground, and then you will see that, like, that the magpie will actually dive in with its beak, and then they actually, so yeah, so their hearing is really good. So then you can find, and then you can see sometimes that they actually got the worm out. So yeah, which is interesting to see that how they evolved. Yeah, other birds, I don't know, like, I know that cockatoos are eating some kind of, so there are times when there are a lot of cockatoos on one tree, and then on another there are also a bunch of them, because there is like a fruit or the seed that they are eating. And then during like late spring, they are actually going to those trees, and then you can actually see that a lot of leaves are actually fall because of them. So yeah. So that is the Black Mountain with the Telestra Tower. There is the Botanical Gardens, which I have showed you several weeks ago, or a week ago, I think, or 2-3 weeks ago. Yeah, so you can actually see, these people, you can imagine that Canberra is not really big, so not like Sydney or Melbourne, where you can actually drive a lot, and then you are seeing the city. And also for the beach, like, you have to drive a lot, and also like there are a lot of traffic jams, and here they can be. So if you are going to the city center afternoons or evenings, then at least 30 minutes or 40 until you get from Woden to the city center. So yeah, so it was. So yeah, so here there can be traffic jams, but not like in Sydney or Melbourne, where like every day or like almost every street is jammed. Here mostly the two bridges, the Commonwealth and the Elizabeth bridges, which can be actually jammed. Also the Parliament Circle, as well as the City Circle. These four places can be crowded or jammed. Others there might be, but not every day. So there are some houses at the beginning of the Red Hill which are really well decorated, like some parrots and local birds. There's, I think, a black cockatoo that is really rare to actually find, and some other birds, including the magpie, the black and white. This is magpie. Some other parrots. The pink one is, I think, is called Rossella. Yeah. That that blue bird here is actually like we have seen in cairns in the rainforest. Or this is emu. Yeah, this is emu. Sorry, this is emu. Yeah, because there is like another one with a C that was seen. That is the pink cockatoo, which we have not seen. And some other birds there as well, as with the kookaburra as well. So with the pink cockatoo's background, I would like to say a goodbye and thanks for joining me for this little Red Hill tour, where you can actually could learn more about Red Hill as well as Canberra. See you in the next video. Bye guys.